Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have the Crown Prince with us.
Introducing Mohammed bin Salman, otherwise known as MBS. He's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia's young Crown Prince arresting hundreds of his own cousins and
crackdown on corruption. 11 princes and nearly 40 current or former officials detained, reportedly being held at the lavish Ritz-Carlton.
This was a heinous crime, but I take full responsibility as a leader in Saudi Arabia.
Newcastle United, a proud club with great supporters, was established in 1892. In 2020, the club will look vastly different from the days of Michael Owen and Alan Shearer. However, it comes with a price.
The decision is entirely left for women to decide what type of decent and respectful attire she chooses to wear.
Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia wanted to put off a liberal vibe to the world, including the American public, via 60 Minutes. However, after his plan for positive PR, the true story was revealed. MBS took credit for eventually granting women the right to drive, but he is also the one who had 10 women thrown in prison, charging them as foreign agents and spies.
There are people on the front lines that cannot be here, like Lujan al-Hotal, who is a Saudi activist who helped fight to lift the women's driving ban.
Lujain al-Hathloual, the activist Hassan Minhaj toasted to, is one of a handful of activists who long advocated to end the ban on women driving and male guardianship. As Mehdi Hassan wrote of Saudi change, the message from the Saudi authorities was clear. Reforms will happen on the royals' timetable and only with royal approval.
Torture her. And when I say torture her, they are having fun. They are laughing at her. They attach her hands and legs and they electrocute her.
This is Aliyah al-Hathloual, Lujain's sister, speaking on the torture her sibling endures, like in her New York Times op-ed writing, Lujain being held in solitary confinement, beaten, waterboarded, given electric shocks, sexually harassed and threatened with rape and murder. My parents then saw that her thighs were blackened by bruises. Aliyah challenges Saud al-Qahtani, a top advisor to MBS, was present and threatened the worst. Then came an offer. Saudi officials had been willing to release Lujain if she agreed to deny on camera that she had been tortured. She refused. She immediately ripped the document, wrote her brother Walid Athloual on Twitter.
Afraid he'd be arrested in the Saudi kingdom because of his fierce criticism of the country's de facto ruler.
He is creating an environment of intimidation and fear. Saudis are being silenced.
Remember Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi?
Khashoggi gives her his cell phones before he enters. He walks into the consulate. It's the last time we see him.
Who, according to the United States CIA, MBS did indeed call for the hits to take place on Jamal Khashoggi. Riyadh initially denied knowledge of Khashoggi's fate, but later said he was killed in a rogue operation on Turkish soil. Investigators concluded that Khashoggi was forcibly restrained after a struggle and injected with a large amount of a drug, resulting in an overdose that led to his death. His body was then dismembered and handed over to a local collaborator outside the consulate for disposal, per the BBC. Yet,
There's a lot of guests from Saudi we've seen.
Here is Amanda Staveley, dubbed Britain's most glamorous financier. Staveley is renowned for her connection with wealthy Middle East investors. Previously, her financial advisory firm PCP Capital Partners helped broker the sale of Manchester City. A key figure, Staveley would take a role on the board and become a central figure at the club if the takeover is complete. As the Daily Mail wrote, it might suit the Saudis to put a British face on their takeover, given that recent unpleasantness at the embassy, and a woman too, given the global view of gender politics in the region. Staveley is the middleman for MBS's purchase of the famed English club. Khashoggi's widow, Hatice Cengiz, on Twitter urged the Premier League to intervene the takeover, adding, "Doing otherwise will greatly stain the reputation of the Premier League and the UK." Cengiz told the Daily Telegraph that Salman was strategically using international sports to repair his badly damaged reputation. What will the Premier League do? It remains to be seen. But human rights activists have already had their say. We still need to see it for what it is, Saudi Arabia attempting to use the glamour and prestige of Premier League football as a PR tool to distract from the country's abysmal human rights record. In closing, words from Noam Chomsky. I think it only makes sense to seek out and identify structures of authority, hierarchy, and domination in every aspect of life, and to challenge them, unless a justification for them can be given. They are illegitimate and should be dismantled to increase the scope of human freedom. If you'd like to hear more thought-provoking content like TYT Sports on Facebook and to help in my journey to keep media independent, go to tyt.com/Rick.